all the way my Savior leads me. Cheers each winding path I tread, gives me grace for every trial, feeds me with the living bread.
Good morning and welcome to the Chester ARP Church Devotional Podcast. I'm recording today from beautiful Bun Clarkin. Excited about it, a little breeze in the background. Thank you for being with us. We will read today from 1 Samuel chapter 6. 1 Samuel chapter 6 is where we are, and the Ark of the Covenant has been in the hands of the Philistines and now will be returned to the people of Israel. The Ark of the Lord was in the country of the Philistines 7 months. And the Philistines called for the priest and the diviners and said, "What shall we do with the Ark of the Lord? Tell us with what we shall send it to its place." They said, "If you send away the Ark of God of Israel, do not send it empty, and by all means return to him a guilt offering. Then you will be healed, and it will be known to you why his hand does not turn away from you." And they said, "What is the guilt offering that we should return to him?" For they answered, 5 golden tumors and 5 golden mice, according to the number of the lords of the Philistines. For the same plague was on all of you and your lords. So you must make your images of your tumors and images of your mice that ravage the land, and give God glory. Perhaps he will listen or lighten his hand from you and your gods and your land. Why should you harden your hearts as the Egyptians and Pharaoh hardened their hearts? After he had dealt severely with them, they did not send the people away, and they departed. Now, then take and prepare a new cart and 2 milk cows on which there has never come a yoke, and yoke the cows to the cart. But take their calves home away from them, and take the ark of the Lord and place it on the cart and put it in a box at its side, the figures of gold which you are returning to him as a guilt offering. Then send it off and let it go its way, and watch. If it goes on the way to its own land, toward Beth-shemesh, then it is he who has done us this great harm. But if not, then we will know that it is not his hand that struck us. It happened to us by coincidence." The men did so and took milk cows and yoked them to the cart and shut up their calves at home. They put the ark of the Lord on the cart and the box with the golden mice and the images of their tumors. And the cows went straight to the direction of Beth-shemesh along one highway, lowing as they went. They turned neither to the right hand nor the left hand, and the lords of the Philistines went after them as far as the border of Beth-shemesh. Now the people of Beth-shemesh were reaping their wheat harvest in the valley, and when they lifted up their eyes and saw the ark, they rejoiced to see it. The cart came into the field of Joshua of Beth-shemesh and stopped there. A great stone was there, and they split up the wood of the cart and offered the cows as a burnt offering to the Lord. And the Levites took down the ark of the Lord and the box that was beside it, in which there were golden figures, and set them upon the great stone. And the men of Beth-shemesh offered burnt offerings and sacrificed sacrifices on the day of the Lord, that day to the Lord. And when the 5 lords of the Philistines saw it, they returned that day to Ekron. These are the golden tumors that the Philistines returned as a guilt offering to the Lord: 1 for Ashdod, 1 for Gaza, 1 for Ashkelon, 1 for Gath, 1 for Ekron. And the golden mice according to the number of all the cities of the Philistines, belonging to the 5 lords, both fortified and unwalled cities. The great stone beside which they set down the ark of the Lord is a witness to this day in the field of Joshua of Beth-shemesh. And he struck down some of the men of Beth-shemesh because they looked upon the ark of the Lord, and he struck down 70 men of them, and the people mourned because the Lord had struck the people with a great blow. Then the men of Beth-shemesh said, "Who is able to stand before the Lord, this holy God? And to whom shall he go up away from us?" So they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kiriath-jearim, saying, "The Philistines have returned the ark of the Lord. Come down and take it up to you." Now, this is a great story. It's an interesting story, but it's the story of the Philistines saying, "You know what, we're going to send this Ark of the Covenant back to Israel." All kinds of things have happened in their land. They've had golden tumors. Mice have overrun them. People have been sick and people have died. And so they want to get rid of this Ark of the Covenant, which is bringing plagues upon them. So they call in their priests and their diviners and say, what shall we do? And the priest and the diviner says, send it away. And send it with 2 milk cows that have just given birth, never had a yoke on them before. Make a cart and send this thing back to Beth-shemesh. And if it goes to Beth-shemesh, then we know it is the Lord, the God of Israel, who's brought this harm on us. If it turns to the left or to the right, then we know it was as a result of coincidence, and we'll understand how to move forward. Of course, they hook up the cart, they put the ark on the cart, they put their golden tumors and their mice in a box, and they send it on its way, and that thing goes to Beth-shemesh. And when it goes to Beth-shemesh, the people are thrilled. The first thing they do is offer sacrifices. They take down the ark, they cut up the cart, they break it up, they build a fire, and they offer sacrifices to the Lord of the milk cows. They cut them up and put them on the sacrifices on the fire and offer a sacrifice to the Lord as a guilt offering. The problem that happens there is that there are some who do not follow the Lord's command with reference to how you treat his Ark of the Covenant. And so there were men who looked into the ark and upon the ark in ways that they shouldn't have, and they died. 70 of them died. 70 men of Beth-shemesh died. The people of Beth-shemesh were terrified by this and, quite frankly, burdened by it. And they decided that they wanted to get rid of the Ark of the Covenant. So they call the folks from Kiriath-jearim and say, do you want the ark? And the people of Kiriath-jearim say, yeah, we'll take the ark. And they come and get the ark. The moral of the story, as it were, was, one, the Philistines understood that this was judgment, that the judgment they were going through, the hardship, was a divine retribution. It was judgment from the Lord for their sinful attack on Israel. And they wanted to get rid of this source of judgment upon them, this source of condemnation, this source of hardship, and so they send the ark back. God guides the ark back, and the people of Beth-shemesh welcome it properly, and they offer sacrifices. But they don't obey God. God says, don't look at the Ark of the Covenant, yet they do. And they do, and they die. Then they're terrified because of their sin, and the results of their sin were so drastic. So they want to get rid of the presence of God, which was a blessing to them. They want to get rid of the presence of God so as to save their population, to save themselves. That sounds interesting and sounds even somewhat understandable to us until we recognize the very essence of the blessing of God is found in the Ark of the Covenant. And by getting rid of it, they pushed away the presence of God. And we can do the same thing because of fear or because of concern or because of the unknown. And so may we learn from them and say, you know what? Being in the presence of God is uncertain at times, but it is the place we need to be, for he is the one who brings blessing and hope to his people. You guys have a great day. God bless you. I'll see you next week. Take care.
You carry me close to your heart, and surely your goodness and mercy will follow.